I guess the last question I would have for you today is, as we wrap up our work together, is this something that you would recommend to other staff members, and is this something that you would spend time doing again in future years or future months since your time here by Virgin?
I would definitely do it again. I would do everything I could to kind of help alleviate other people's concerns about it or anxieties about it. I would recommend it. I think that there's a certain amount of defensiveness that goes with being self-reflective, and it's hard. It tends to be hard for some people sometimes, but I think that once you break that barrier and you really can kind of look at yourself without that defensiveness, that is really, really helpful. And I have worked a very long time, especially in my prior teaching employment, in like that self-reflection. And bringing that here, I think, has really kind of set up the success that I've had thus far, which has been difficult. It's been a difficult start to the year. It hasn't been really smooth. And I think the ability to be self-reflective is a piece of that.
Excellent. In closing, is there anything else that you want to share with the folks that are viewing this that you think they should know about your experience with coaching and video recording feedback?
I guess only that, again, giving that safe environment is really important, so that teachers can know that administrators aren't going to be watching it to catch you. So I guess just keeping it at the level we've kept it at, which was very just informative, friendly, and had a really nice time, sitting with Jim Thompson. It was a great opportunity to sit with you and discuss it. So if you keep it friendly, that would be the best.
Excellent. All right. Thank you very much, sir.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.
Now, so that we can stick to our time frame so that we can get you over to the commissioner if you'd like to see the commissioner. We're going to wrap up in the next 5 minutes, so it gives you time. Yes, sir.
My question has to go back to teachers being able to trust that the administrators aren't going to have access, or not just access, but number one, is this individual a consultant or an employee? Who do they report to? What do they report to? How do you measure their effectiveness? And is there any way for an administrator to infer from what they're getting that this teacher is or is not effective? So that if I was a teacher, I would want to know how you separate that. How do you gauge if this person is effective or not without reporting back to an administrator on what they're doing?
Through the observations that the administrators are taking part of. So, for example, in our APPR plan, yeah, it's these two parallel worlds. We've got Jim as a consultant. He's doing the coaching. The two of them have the access to that the Shutterfly. There's that building that trust where we know that just those two individuals have access to that. Then there's the coach who's working there. Then we have our administration who's taking out those observations and evaluation process.
The administrator can infer to look for.
Well, there's a variety. This is a great segue. Like, how can you use an instructional coach? And there's a lot of ways we can use this. Let's differentiate instruction. One of them is, let's take our Navy SEAL teachers. Let's take the greatest teachers on our staff that we've got a pile of observations saying you're doing a nice job. Thank you. And the next year we say you're doing a nice job. Thank you so much for helping us. To what degree are we really helping these great teachers even become more lofty? I like to start out with the positives. And that's who we're starting with at Byron Virgin. We're starting with just great teachers who want to get better. Tiger Woods had 2 swing coaches at one time in his life. 2 swing coaches. And I saw what he was paying each, and he had 2 because he didn't like the feedback from one of them. And they didn't know that he had 2. The people at the top of their game have either a personal trainer, multiple personal coaches, or whatever. So we want to start out with that answer. You've got great teachers. Let's make them even more highly effective. On Charlotte Danielson, 4 is the highest rubric. Baloney, 5. We're going for 5. What does 5 look like instructionally? Moving down, another one. Low-hanging fruit. Our brand new teachers that we hire, they'll have mentors. Why couldn't we have mentor teachers videotape some lessons, exchange them just with the protege, their protege reflect on it, and exchange videotapes with their mentors? Only that dialogue goes on. Only that dialogue goes on. And let's go to a dark side. With people, with the Heidi scoring method, which I'm not going to say I agree with. I'm retired, so I'm not going to get into that. But the people who are at the bottom level, year after year after year, I think at least we need to give them provide some coaching for them. Provide some coaching for them. This process with one teacher took me about 4 hours. 4 hours. If we had more time, I'd talk to you about the whole thing. I don't know how many of your principals have got 4 hours of time to work with a great teacher. The pre-observation conference is about 29 minutes. We shorten it. The post-observation conference is about 38 minutes. We shorten it. I spent 2.5 hours looking at his video on Shutterfly. Stop action, unpacking it, figuring out what I was going to coach him on. I wanted to expand his repertoire on checking for understanding. And we had a great discussion on that. And so, if you are ever looking at an expedited 3020A, we're board members in here, and you get and you're moving on that, and you have to go to litigation, and they say, at what date did the district define you as ineffective? And you said blank, blank. And what did they do to help you? What was their research-based remediation to help you? And they said, well, they just said, we got to work on it a little bit more. Versus, well, we employed an instructional coach. And this guy was a former elementary principal of the year. And the coaching sessions were on this state, this state, this state, this state, and this state with videotape sharing. I think we're going to have a different landscape. I hate to bring that up, but this may be. So I think there's a variety of levels. But if we can help people be more reflective practitioners, we're going to get kids learning better. I think.
Yeah, and just the last parts of that is working it in our APPR. If it's a teacher improvement plan, as part of the teacher improvement plan that's created between the administrator and the teacher would be, I've got a great idea. Let's use Mr. Thompson as an instructional coach to improve your instruction. And the other part is we have an artifact collection part of our APPR, and we're in the process of negotiating. You collect the artifacts, or you can work with Mr. Thompson. And we would rather have them work with Mr. Thompson to receive that feedback. So,
just paid political announcement here. I'm part of BOCES, and so we are starting a BOCES COSER to set up an institute to train instructional coaches. 10 Saturdays over there, BOCES Aidable. We are working on an apprenticeship with Jim Knight from the University of Kansas. Google instructional coaching. The main man is Jim Knight from the University of Kansas. We're using his model, adding the stuff from the art of teaching, with 21st century videotaping to train people to be instructional coaches, to go back into the districts, the classrooms, to help others, to help improve instruction. And it's BOCES Aidable. It's a huge bang for the buck. We think it's something whose time has definitely come.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, in closing, if you have questions, I know that folks want to get over to the Commissioner. You can email me if you go to the Byron-Burgeon Central School District website. My email's there, and I will get that information out to you on any questions you have from the presentation. Thank you.